Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us, save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Yeah, yeah. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us, save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Oh, Lord, I lift your name on
Okay, we are going to get started, even though I know we've got a lot of people trickling in. But thank you for being here tonight. 7th and 8th grade, you're starting out in here because we're going to go over a couple instructions. 9th grade, did I say 7th and 8th? Yeah, 9th grade, you are going to stay in here for the next 30-ish minutes. We're going to have our mentor meeting starting in just a bit. But we have a couple things that we need to do before we do that and get everybody else on the road. So we will pray before we head out. So we're going to just go through some details. Your schedule, 7th and 8th grade, is in your buckets. 7th grade is starting in the living room with pizza and ice cream. The pizza is being delivered at 6:30, so in the next 5-ish minutes, and it's being brought to, raise your hand if you're 7th grade guide. Who am I talking to right now? 7th grade guides? Nobody? Not yet. They're coming in right now, so I might as well wait. 8th grade guides, raise your hand. Then I know you've, okay, so we've got some. You are starting out in Fellowship Hall with tie blankets, and then you're going to food. So you have an ice cream cake tonight for winning the Penny Wars. So 8th grade guides, it's a little bit tricky to get out of the freezer, so I'll hopefully get in there and help you get it out. Start with pizza, and then I'll come in, and it kind of has to jimmy out because the door doesn't open all the way. 7th grade guides, you are starting in Fellowship Hall with pizza and ice cream. The pizza is being delivered at 6:30. It's coming to the Fellowship Hall kitchen. So grab pizza from there and bring it into the living room. You're in the living room first. And then, 8th grade, I need your help to listen. There is a gallon of ice cream for Sundays. And so the ice cream scoops, everything you need are in there. And so 2 slices a person, 7th grade and 8th grade. 7th grade and 8th grade guides, so that we have enough pizza for everybody. 2 slices a person. Okay? 2 slices for pizza? Okay. So your schedule's in your bucket. Do you have any questions about what you're doing, where you're going? Okay, if you think of something, let me know. So 7th and 8th grade, listen up now. Shh. Your crosses, we want you to take them home tonight. Your Lent crosses. Guides, we are hoping to get a picture of each youth holding their cross. When you are in the tie blanket rotation in Fellowship Hall, when you are done tying your quilts, because you'll be done with that in less than 30 minutes, come into Fellowship Hall or come into the narthex and have them take a picture with the cross and then send it to me, and make sure the crosses go home with them. Individual pictures. So you take care of your group. Kim, we might need to do yours later, but so try to get a picture of each kid with their cross, and then, okay? Attendance is still in your bucket. I did a quick look. You probably wonder, this is for 7th, 8th, and 9th. You probably wonder why we even do this, but I thought it was pretty cool to look at. Some of the groups, 9th grade, you had 2 nights when everybody was here, which is a feat when you're all one large group, right? So 2 nights everybody was here. 8th grade, Bayer group had 3 nights. Copperwood Boyack had 6, and Writers and Quamans had 4. So you all had a lot of nights when you had all your kids here, which was so cool. Winnegar group had 3, that whole crew. And then Henson, Holzer, and Prickett had 7 nights when all their kids were here. And the top winner was Carlson, Thorstead, Olson with 8 nights when all of their kids were here for confirmation out of... So 8! They had 8 nights when everybody was here. Now, I know things come up. People get sick. We've got sports. Shh. But I just want to give kudos. When you show up here, that's when we get to have the most fun, because when you're not here, we miss you. And so I don't have any prizes or anything. I just thought it was pretty cool to look at that and see. You got lots of candy last week, and you're getting pizza and ice cream tonight, so that's your prize, right? What, do they want prizes? Oh, we finally won something. I love it. I'll think of something creative. We could, we're going to get a big rubber duck and put your name on it or something. Okay, buckets. Clean out your buckets. Not the stuff that you don't need, but I mean worship notes, papers, send them home with kids, okay? Because I don't want to throw them away. Just send them home with as much as you can, papers home with kids, but leave the pens and all the other stuff, and I'll get that cleaned out before next fall. Guides and junior guides, stand up. Can we thank them for an awesome year of confirmation? Okay, you can sit down. We could not do this ministry without you. You all are super invaluable. I know it's not much, but there is a little gift. Thank you for being the hands of Christ. There's a little hand lotion and then some sweet treats because you're all so sweet. So thank you so much. Grab that. Make sure you take one of these before you leave tonight. And then 9th grade, come on up. Come up here, 9th grade. It's your last night of confirmation. Come on, 9th graders up front.
I don't know what's going to happen. I hope you've all thought of it.
Okay, huddle up right now. We're going to do something a little different. 9th graders, huddle up and talk about your favorite confirmation experience. Go. Talk together, talk together, talk together. Get together, as a whole. What's your favorite? Yeah, talk together as a group. What was your favorite confirmation experience? Did you come up with something? Oh, somebody's willing to tell us what it is. Come on. Well, did you prep them for individuals? Okay.
They're looking at me like I shouldn't.
What was the overall thing? Just tell me. Jennifer's house. Jennifer's house for the top win. Okay, quickly share. What is your favorite memory from confirmation experience?
Jennifer's house. Being with friends.
Being with friends.
Playing
Listen up.
games. Playing games. Being with friends. Being with friends.
Feed my starving children.
Jennifer's house.
Feed my starving children.
Jennifer's house.
Being with friends.
Jennifer's house.
So they did go to Jennifer Slipka's house for lots of their gatherings and had a lot of fun there. So Jennifer does not even have a child in confirmation, and so we're super grateful. Neither does Kara, and she joined this last year, so we have some special gifts for you from the 9th grade class. And also sending our love to Cynthia, who is not here anymore. But from all of the 9th grade to your guides, as you wrap up your final night of Wednesday night confirmation, what do we say? Thank you. We're super grateful. And 9th grade, we're proud of you for being here, and we're excited for your final year confirmation. So let's congratulate our 9th grade. Okay, I think we're right on time. We're going to have a prayer and then send our 7th and 8th grade off and start our mentor meeting. Okay, let's fold our hands and pray. We do this in confirmation where we take a minute. I'm going to count to 10 once I stop talking, and I'm going to ask you to take a couple deep breaths just to let go of the stress of the day and be able to calm your mind and spirit for our prayer. God, we thank you for a chance to slow down and just to appreciate the fact that we are alive and in this great space where we can love and serve and grow together to learn and know more about you. We thank you for each and every one of these youth and these adults that have come tonight to this space for various reasons. Be with us as we wrap up our final night of confirmation for this year, and as we celebrate, as we spend time with friends, bless the food to our bodies, help our hands to be productive as we tie blankets, and also be with our mentors and 9th graders as they are about to embark on their final mentor experience before they're confirmed. Thanks for this gorgeous day, and help us to be so safe and healthy and be with us and know that we can talk to you each and every day. And all God's children said, Amen. Okay, 7th and 8th grade, you know where you're going? Good to go? 7th grade. 7th grade's going to the living room for food. 8th grade to Fellowship Hall. Thank you. Guides, thank you for doing food. Okay, I'm going to ask all of you 9th graders now to come up front. You're all the way in the back. Come up to the front. Oh, you are out at games, but you have a break until you don't have anybody this first session. So the supplies, so I'm going to turn this off. Thank you for moving up. It's easier to see you and be among you when you're here. So, Pastor Tim is handing out the mentor packets. I started taking attendance, so I'll probably get back to that. When I turn my head, it really gets loud. I'll get back to that in a second, so I make sure that I know which mentors we have connected with and who we might still need to follow up with, because I don't have a sign-in sheet. But mentors, thank you so much for committing to this process. It is something that we have done for many, many years, and churches, Lutheran churches all over do this mentoring process. I want to tell you a quick little story to start. When I was in confirmation many, many years ago, I did this very same process with my mentor's name was Julie Seedorf, and I am still in touch with her today. She became like a second mom to me as I went through confirmation. She was one that when I had some tough times in high school, I could reach out to her, someone that wasn't a parent that I could call on. And it was an invaluable relationship for me through my high school and college years. I hope that this experience can be that same thing for you. I will tell you, so I just sent her a birthday text the other day, and it's just really neat to be able to look back and see that that relationship is still something that is a blessing in my life. Now, I know many of you have chosen family members, and that is the way that we have done the mentor program up to this point. I'll have you know that starting in the fall, our 8th graders are going to get mentors and our 9th graders, and we're going to lengthen the process. They're going to be doing mentoring. I made a new word. They're going to do mentoring during Lent in 8th grade and 9th grade, and then we are actually moving confirmation from spring to fall. After you're going to be the last spring confirmation class. So some tweaks that we're making, but another thing that we're changing about it is that they cannot ask a family member. So you are sort of the last class that gets to do that. The thing I will say is if you change your mind and you would like to ask someone that is not a family member, you are still allowed to do that, right? Or do both, because there is so much value in having these conversations with family, yes, but sometimes we put it off when it's our family because we're with them all the time. So if you are with a family member, my challenge to you is that you don't, especially parents, right, because you're together more often than any other relationship, that you don't, that you set aside special time for this, that it's not just like at the dinner table with everybody else. No, you go out and do your hour mentoring as a special thing, right, that is apart from whatever else you're doing, so that it doesn't just become something that's easy not to do, right? And I'm only speaking from experience because, Ben had my dad, and they had to be very diligent about making sure that they did their mentoring time apart from family gatherings, right? But that being said, if you are interested in asking someone to be you've got 6 mentor sessions left. Now, hopefully you've done the 3 from Lent, and that was a brand new thing, so we are kind of working our way into this new program, right? The 6 sessions that you have coming up are what we have normally done with our sophomores, and so essentially you kind of have a leg up on what the mentoring was because hopefully you've already done those 3. So now we are going to look at the packet. Do you have any left, or are they all out? Sounds good. Can you look on, Charlie? Thank you. Just so I can peek while we're talking through. So this is going to be your most valuable resource for your mentoring. It not only has information about why we're doing what we're doing, but it also has your discussion guides for your 6 sessions. Now, the introductory conversation we left in there. Even though most of you probably won't need to do this, especially if you know each other well, but I challenge you to find out something new about each other. I'm guessing that even if you know each other well, there are things that you don't know. So challenge yourself to do that introductory conversation, even though if you know each other well, and try to learn something new, right? But let's look at this first page. So 6 guided conversations in this packet. We recommend that you schedule 6 one-hour sessions between, essentially what we're looking at is between now and November 19th. So, we've got June, July, August, September, October, November. That's exactly 6 months. You could do 1 a month, try to get them on the calendar. If there's months when it doesn't work, of course you could combine 2, but it's just harder to do a 2-hour session. You're probably never going to do a 2-hour session, actually. So that's what we recommend. Important notes, the meeting space needs to be somewhere neutral that is, especially if you're meeting with someone that is not family, it has to be a public location, not one-on-one in where there's nobody else around, right? We are, because this is a church-sanctioned program, we are liable for your safety. And do you want to talk a little bit about this now? About mandatory, part of why we do this is because we have insurance as a church. And in order to get our insurance, we have to sign that we are never having adults and kids meeting one-on-one. Okay?
Yeah. We trust all of you. We know you're going to do all the right things, and they're never, ever think about hurting any kids. That being said, unfortunately, there have been people who have taken advantage of situations like this. And so we put rules on everyone, and all those of us who would never hurt a kid go, okay, I'll do that, because that way, that one person who would doesn't get the chance. So, first, I'm a mandated reporter. We assume that if you're working on behalf of the church, you kind of fall under that too. So, if this is going to be totally confidential, you can say whatever you are, you can have any questions, any thoughts, accepting the examples if you say, I'm going to hurt myself. Your mentor will say, we're going to stop that, and I now need to report that because we need to make you safe. Or if you report anything like you're being abused. Please, if you're going to hurt yourself or anyone else, or you're being abused, I want to hear that, and we want to take care of that for you. But except for those things, it's all confidential, and keep it between yourselves, because if we're not free to have conversations openly and honestly, because things might come up, that's very good to do. And so that's what we ask you to do, and make sure it's in a public place where you can be seen by other people, but not heard, so you can have those conversations. Questions on that?
So one story I have from early mentoring in my first church was there was a situation where a kid said to the mentor, I've got something I want to tell you, but you can't tell anybody about it. And I learned from that situation that anytime you want to have a trusting, loving conversation, and yet that they need to know that they can trust that when you say you're going to keep their confidentiality, that they will. But that is a red flag for you, because if they're going to tell you something that is related to the abuse, you have to report it. So I would say anytime you're having a conversation, if that sort of thing comes up, it needs to be prefaced with, as long as you are safe, this is a confidential conversation, but if there's ever anything where our kids are in trouble, we're going to do everything we can to help. So, youth, before you meet, we ask that you take a look at these, okay, you're going to meet with your mentor next Tuesday. On Monday night, we want you to look through these questions and jot down some thoughts. Start thinking about it so that when you get to the conversation, it's not brand new, right? Now, you're probably in an ideal world, you would do that every time. You're probably not going to be able to do it every time, but it's just an encouragement thing that will make your conversations more beneficial, full, rich, right? Turn off your phones. Try to put them away or don't have them nearby unless you're using them to look up something. It just makes the conversation so much more focused, and I think it's important for all of us, not just the youth, right? I think the whole tech addiction is real for everybody. We talked about the confidentiality, so we are on page 3. So you're going to wrap up with this mentoring at least by November 19th. If for some reason there's extenuating circumstances that you need to go past that, of course, that we will, you're not going to be fired from confirmation. We're going to talk about it, right? But on November 19th, you were going to have a meeting back here with your mentors and at least one parent, and we will talk a little bit more about confirmation getting confirmed. And so we want you to bring this packet with you somewhat completed, right? Now, we're not expecting you to, this is where, like youth, if you look at it ahead of time and jot some stuff down, that's all you need to bring with you, right? And you might write some more things down. What we're hoping is that this becomes kind of like a journal diary for you to stick somewhere in your Bible, keep, that in 10 years you look back and you're like, whoa, look at what I thought about, heaven. Gosh, man, my faith has really grown. It's a way to see our growth. And so as much as you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. That's really my recommendation. And if this can be just a really super rewarding experience if the more you put into it, right? So, did you want to say something about that? I saw you grab the mic.
Parents, there's no reason why, even if you're not their mentor, you can grab these and have the same types of conversations with them.
Yeah.
Because it's a great conversation starter, and maybe some of this you've talked about, and maybe some of this you haven't. I know that when I did this in a previous church, I was like, hey, let's talk about those things with me. And that was helpful for me, even though I'm a pastor, and they hear what I think every week. We got to dialogue and they got to ask questions about it. So I'd encourage you to try to also maybe do that. And remember, it's starting those conversations. This is a guide for conversations. We want the conversations to go where they need to. So if you start on the topic and you go way afield and you're talking about great faith stuff, amen, the Spirit leads you, we're great with that.
And then we get to the faith statement, which is kind of your final thing with this. You will, at the very end of it, work together on a statement of faith, which you've already started with your I believe statement, right? So that's kind of a place to start. That's why we started doing that. A couple notes about this. I don't know if you have heard some of the faith statements from the last couple of years, but what we're looking for is not making robots, right? I hope you've noticed that in the faith statements, that it is not cookie cutter. It is not like we are feeding information into you and you're gurgitating it out. Like, this is truly your fingerprint, your faith. It is meant to be a work in progress, right? Getting confirmed does not mean you have all of the answers, that you feel like you've reached this and now celebrate because I'm done. No, it's truly a step in your journey, and it is a piece of your faith that's really at the beginning, right? When you think about how long faith can go, and we hope that it will be something that will be a part of your life until the very end, and that you get to live a long and full life, and your faith, you see how your faith has grown through all those things, right? But one of the things that we really encourage is you to ask questions. So this time is a great opportunity for you to say, what happens when you die? And mentors, hear me say loud and clear that you are not expected to have any answers, but you are expected to wonder together and talk from experience and share from your heart, but not be fake or inauthentic or try to create something, right? I mean, I think all of us are still wondering about a lot of faith things, right? So even as adults, we have questions about faith, and I encourage you to share those together and talk about them. But I think that's a big part of this, is asking questions together. And having questions is not a downfall about faith or mean that you're not a strong enough Christian. That is a piece of growing in faith, because once we think we have all the answers, that's when you become stagnant and you stop moving forward and having discussions. And I mean, let's also be honest, the world is constantly changing, right? So we need to wonder about things because things are different every day. And so we need to wonder about faith, not in just always this context, but what's next, and what's next, and what's next, and how we respond, and how we live our faith in the current context, right, which is ever-changing. So that faith statement is meant to be something that's authentic, I don't want your faith mentor to write it for you. That's not the point. I do not want you to feel like you have to have a bunch of beautiful flowery answers, right? No, you're really exploring, what does this mean to me? Who is God? Who am I in the world as a faithful Christian? How do I plan to live out my faith after I'm confirmed? So there's a guide. So the next 7 pages are your conversation things, and then at the very end on page 11, you have a sort of guidelines for a faith statement. And these are just some thoughts, right? Belonging to Christ, believing in Christ, becoming like Christ. These are some things to get you started in your thinking, but there is no right or wrong here. We usually say 3 to 4 minutes. You have, again, a smallerish class, so if you want to speak 5 or 6, that's probably okay, because we don't have 30 of you. We have about 14 or 15. And then you will share these during Lent, and I put the dates in there. They're on the top of page 11. Those are the 5 Wednesdays, so we don't do them on Ash Wednesday, but then those next 5 Wednesdays are the Lent Wednesdays. And then confirmation will be April 12th. It's the Sunday after Easter. We've typically done an 11:30 service. I can't see why we would change that, so if you want to jot that in, I know the April 12th, I think, it's back on page 3, Confirmation Day on April 12th, 2026. It'll be 11:30 a.m. And that's a thing where you invite family, baptismal sponsors, your mentor, and you actually confirm your faith. We affirm the promises that were made in your baptism, and we do a laying on the hands and a blessing. It's a very special service for you. The only other thing, and I haven't even talked to Pastor Tim about this, but I had an idea earlier. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm not going to require it, but I'm going to challenge you because what we saw happen with the 7th and 8th graders with this cross project was really cool. It was a great way for them to demonstrate something important, like a piece of their faith, right? It's an important part of their faith. And I will email out what we sent to them for this cross project. You didn't do this project because we had you do the mentoring instead. I'm going to challenge you to create a cross in your mentor pair as a part of your final faith, like mentoring journey. I think it's fun to have hands-on things to do as, when you're not just having conversation, but, think about a cross that might be meaningful to you. If you were to build a cross with materials that are significant to you, what would it look like? Again, I'm not going to require it. I'm just going to encourage you to do it because I don't need another thing to track and follow up on, but I think it could be a very meaningful thing for you, and you didn't get to do that because we had 7th and 8th grade do it, and you started with mentoring. So since you've already had 3 sessions and you don't need to do an introductory session, you can think about if you want to build a cross as a part of your mentor experience too. So just an encouragement. What did I miss?
I was just going to say too, I've mentored, I think she's my 7th kiddo that I've mentored, and people feel like
I love it.
it's been a theme, because you haven't had something big happen in your life where you're like, oh, God is helping me now, or this big moment where something tragic has happened, or something, whatever. It doesn't mean you don't have a faith story to tell, and it doesn't mean that the things that happen are more helpful to you. But you know, just because your faith story might not be this big, moment where
Aha.
oh, this happened, God spoke to me in this moment, doesn't mean your faith story isn't important and isn't there. But I just think that's important to keep in mind, because when I've met with kids, they're like, I don't know, I've never seen somebody die, I've never done this, I don't know, I have nothing, and I'm like, no, you do, you have all these things. It doesn't have to be a moment, and it doesn't have to be tragic, and it doesn't have to be, does that make any sense? Okay, and you're just lucky if you haven't done those things yet, right? But I think it's important to keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be this, moment.
And then you can talk about ways that you see God at work. You can talk about ways that your faith has grown. Because even if you haven't had something major, your faith has grown from 7th grade to 9th grade, right? Or changed in some way, and you can talk about that. So yeah, there's so much you can talk about, and I think I just am kind of going to reiterate so that people online hear it. No, you're fine. I should have brought you the mic. But so if you don't have a major faith thing that has happened for you, sometimes we think they're tragedies, that doesn't mean that your faith is any less significant and you don't have something important to share, right? So what's the last thing we're going to talk through is kind of what this next year will look like, right? So you do your mentoring now. You're not going to hear a whole lot from me. You do not have to register for confirmation in the fall because you're done with the Wednesday experience. We expect you to find ways to connect with the high school ministries. That's just to continue to be involved and grow in your faith. So there's that. And then January, February-ish, we will be in touch with you about signing up for a one-on-one faith meeting, which this last year Tim and I did together because he had just started and the sophomores knew me but not him. I don't have an answer for you today what that's going to look like for your class. We might decide, we really liked doing them together and we're going to continue to do that. Or we might say, you take half of them and I'll take half of them. I don't know. But January and February-ish time frame, you're going to sign up for a 20 to 30 minute slot on a Sign Up Genius to meet one-on-one. or one-on-two with us and talk about your faith journey and have your first draft of your faith statement. So the goal after your November meeting, the busyness of Thanksgiving and Christmas in January and over that time is a great time to start, but then in January and February you are working on what you're going to do for your faith statement, and then sign up to meet with us, and then you'll also sign up for a time to give your statement of faith in worship during Lent. So you get to choose the Wednesday. We just do them alphabetical on that night by last name, so and then it's Confirmation Sunday, and we have wrapped up the confirmation experience, and then we send you off to be adults in the world of keep growing in your faith. So, questions about what's coming? Okay. Any other last minute things or last? Kara's not in here, is she?
Thank you for being part of this. It's been wonderful. We've enjoyed it all. We're looking forward to the next year as you continue to grow. And if you have any questions or anything, please contact us. In the meantime, that's both for you mentors and, of course, for the ninth graders who soon won't be ninth graders anymore. And then, that's what I've got. It's been great getting to know you this last 4 months, and I look forward to some more.
And I encourage you to go on a mission trip. If you're not signed up this summer, I encourage you to get on one in your time. Did Siri just talk to you? You said something that sounded like, did you say seriously? That happens to me all the time. Oh. That's funny. So sign up for a mission trip sometime if you haven't already. We're excited to have you come on those. Lastly, we want to say a huge thank you to Jennifer for all that you have done. And Kara's not in here, but we're going to thank you since you're in here right now. All of the families came together and got a special gift for you, and I talked to Bob about what you like, and so hopefully I got things that you will enjoy. And we're just extremely grateful for all the time that you have given to love our kids. And we know that you didn't have to, and we know that it was beautiful and also hard, and we're just incredibly grateful for all that you gave for them. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't you do this? You've got 1 minute to turn to your mentor and see if you can get your first meeting on your schedule. And then we are going next to Fellowship Hall for tie blankets.